Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Karim Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose. Open your eyes and look around. Open your eyes. Do you see the very things that you read about coming true? Don't you realize the moments are near? Correct yourself in your affairs. He has made it crystal clear. These are the signs of the time. Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers, new class, stay tuned. Signs of the times. Oh yeah, and don't forget to join us in the 24-hour Zoom room for behind-the-scenes access. Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this, all right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister lailanasheeba, the Managing Director and founder of Sunnahfollowers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalam.
Sister Layla live. Sister Layla live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Layla live. Sister Layla. Invite your friends and family. Get cozy. Ask Sister Layla. Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class to add to your Islamic lineup, calling the Muslims back to the Sunnah with the understanding of the companions. A new edition taught and broken down by Ustada lailanasheeba. Tarbiyah, Brotherhood and Sisterhood in Islam. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right here, streaming on all major platforms, channel Sunnahfollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody to our series of Brotherhood. This is a new series that I began a couple of weeks ago, where we're teaching what it means to be brothers and sisters in faith. because that's actually what Islam is all about. You know, as Muslims, we're supposed to live each day of our lives honoring our allegiances to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to other Muslims around the world, and our religion. And we're also supposed to disassociate from anything that stands between us and those areas. And this is something that we've fallen short of today, allegiance and brotherhood, sisterhood. Unfortunately, this is one of the signs of the last hour. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that one of the signs of the last hour will be that brotherhood, sisterhood will diminish. Instead of us being like the companions were, brothers and sisters in faith, we'll end up becoming enemies to one another, to the point that we will oppress and even kill each other. And that's already happening. We can see it in the masajids here in America. You go to some of the masajids and there's so much arguing, so much bickering, so many different people who don't like the imam, or you don't like a certain group or certain people inside the community. So there's rumors being spread. It's so much corruption going on in the masajids nowadays. And then when we look at the Muslim lands, we can see that that brotherhood, that sisterhood doesn't exist even in our Muslim lands. We'll befriend the kafir before we befriend another Muslim. We'll trust the kafir before we trust another Muslim. So these signs are already there. So this is why I've embarked upon this journey of teaching you guys what true brotherhood and what true sisterhood entails. And today what we're going to do, especially since this is our day of Eid, our day of celebration, today we're going to speak about some things that we can do when we come in contact with one another that can help in this establishment. Things that we can do whenever we come face to face with another Muslim that will help to develop or nurture that brother or that sisterhood that we should have. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Yes. Let me first off share with the people on Zoom. Where's my PowerPoint? Okay, and by the way, I'm using an old PowerPoint. I taught this class about 7 years ago. So I'm using, I didn't have a chance to redo the PowerPoint. I'm using some of the old PowerPoint from then. Okay, so just bear with me. I hope this PowerPoint works with this new program here. Yeah. Okay, let me move the Zoom over. It's always the Zoom that gets in the way. Okay, so tonight we're going to speak about certain actions or behaviors that we can put into practice as Muslims with one another that in turn will help to strengthen, develop, and build the ties of brother and sisterhood when we come in contact. Okay, and let's see. Again, here are some tips. Number one, let your brothers in Islam know that you love them. Love is so important, guys. This has been a very depressing day for myself. I was sharing with Sister Anissa earlier. She's one of the elderly women here in our website. She's been around for a long time, alhamdulillah, and she has a lot of experience with life and how to be strong at the face of adversity in life. And when I remember, I logged on my Zoom room today at around 2 p.m. and I was feeling the way I sound. As some of you can hear it, I'm depressed. I always get melancholy on the day of the Eid. And she recognized that. And I told her, I said, you know, something I realized in my older age, Life is a circle. I keep telling you guys, the circle of life. We go out of this world the same way we came in. And what do I mean by that? When I was a young girl growing up here in America in the 1960s, I was the only Muslim in my school, the only Muslim in my community of where I lived. Nobody knew what a Muslim was. All they knew who the Black Panthers were, they knew who the Black nationalists were, and they knew about Elijah Muhammad, but they and his followers, but they did not know that they're of a Muslim such as myself. And I always felt isolated. I felt strange. I had no personal friends at all. My mother didn't allow me to go outside and play anyway. But even if I had no friends that could relate to me because my lifestyle was different. And so every year, and I understood that my lifestyle, even though it was different, it was better than theirs because I was born, to believe in Allah, to live up to that. And I was made to be a daya. My stepfather and mother were shaping me to be a daya. So, every year around Christmas time, when the other children were celebrating Christmas, I knew that there was no such thing as a Santa Claus or a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, even though I was 7 years old and wished I had a reindeer for a pet because I've always liked animals, So I would get depressed. My mother would keep me out, out of school before the Christmas holidays began, when the kids would start decorating, making Christmas stuff. My mother kept me out of school. And we would go on school break for Christmas, and I would get sad. I would be depressed because I knew that there was no such thing as that. I didn't believe in that. I've always believed in Allah, but it was just sad because I felt so lonely. I just wished I had Rudolph to talk to. I was a kid. Why come I can't talk to Saint Nick? I would like to sit down and talk with this big fat man, and tell this man how I feel. And I would like to sit down with this man and make him pull something out of a hat, a toy, a doll for me, or a game or something. So I would get sad during that time of year, and I've, all the way up until my adulthood, all the way up until the past 10 years. And then 10 years ago, my life began to change. It's weird. We get a certain age as women, we start changing. 10 years ago, I was turned 50. So when I turned 50, my life began to change. Instead of getting sad around Christmas, I now get sad every Eid because I spend every Eid alone, at home alone. When I was working, I couldn't go to the Eid prayer because I worked third shift. And I was always mandated because I worked in a facility where somebody had to be there. And first shift people just can't come to work on time. They had to be to work at 5 a.m. People don't wake up. So I would have to stay over until 10 o'clock in the morning because of my union contract. If you forced us to stay over, we had to do 4 hours to get paid the double time. So I would have to work all night and stay till 10. So by the time I would get off from work, Eid prayer was long gone. So I hadn't attended an Eid prayer in 36 years because I worked third shift. And so now that I retired 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago. It's the same thing. I have social anxiety now. And that's what happens. Like I was telling you sisters yesterday, and I want y'all to listen to me and learn from me because I'm an older woman. I know I look young, but I'm 63 years old. You can learn from a woman that's lived longer. Allah did not create women to be providers, maintainers, and protectors. That's not in our physical makeup. It's not in our emotional makeup. I had to be a provider, a maintainer, and protector of myself
ever since I was 21 years old. So I worked for 36 years because I had no husband, no brothers, or nobody to take care of me. And it took its toll on me because, again, I was the only Muslim working in my department. And of course, I had to put on this toughness the same way I have to do on the internet as a daya. I had to put on this tough exterior so that people couldn't hurt me. I had to be intimidating in my appearance, in my voice, because Allah commands that. Allah commands the believing women that when we go out publicly, we cannot make a public spectacle of ourselves. So we have to be firm and strong in our voice, intimidating in our behavior. Well, it takes its toll on you. After 36 years of being intimidating, I now have social anxiety. What does that mean? That means I can't go any place alone. I'm afraid of crowds. I get nervous when I'm in a crowd of people. I don't like being the only one in a room with people I don't know. So I can't go to the Eid prayer because I don't know anybody in that mosque. There's a mosque right down the street from me. It's packed. It was packed. I drove past it twice today, but I couldn't get out of my car to go inside. They had activities going on. I could not get out of my car to participate because I suffer with social anxiety. That's what 36 years of being a man, being intimidating like a man has done to me. It's broken me. That's why I tell you, young sisters, forget about trying to make a career of working like a man. You weren't created for that. You better find a man who can do his job and provide and protect and maintain you, because your place is at home, nurturing the children. And I am an example of that. And there's other women. How many of them will admit it? That's the problem. A lot of women in America don't want to admit that they've lost a lot having to work like a man all their lives. But see, I'm a daya. I speak the truth. And I don't have a problem admitting that Allah is correct in everything he says. So, subhanAllah, I spent the whole Eid at home crying. Oh yeah, depressed. Crying like I used to cry when I was 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 years old. Only difference is I wasn't sucking my thumb, because I'm a thumb sucker too. For those of you who don't know, I'm a thumb sucker. I wasn't sucking my thumb and I wasn't bumping on the couch. But other than that, I spent the whole Eid crying, wishing that I wasn't alone. You know, loneliness. This is something that no human being likes to experience. Even a woman like Layla. So, one of the things we can do to strengthen the ties of brotherhood is let your brothers and sisters in Islam know that they're not alone. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that they are appreciated, that they are cared for. SubhanAllah, especially the single older women like me who've had to play the role of a man all my life because I have no family to take care of me like they're supposed to. It just doesn't happen no more. You know, so it would feel good, you know, to call your sisters and brothers up, you know, and let them know I love you, Sister Layla, was thinking about you, Eid Mubarak. And I did get that from a couple of my students. I began to feel better when I came into the Zoom room and talked to Sister Anisa. She made me feel better. And while I was talking to Anisa, my phone got to beeping, and Sister Shamsa sent me pictures of her and the kids dressed up for the Eid. Then I was looking at pictures of Habiba and her children dressed up. So I started feeling better. And then I got a text message from different people saying, I love you, Sister Layla. I love you for the sake of Allah, Sister Layla. And that made my day. It took my depression away. I'm still sad. I'll probably always be that little girl looking for someone to bring me love in a bag. Because that's all it is, love in a bag. I'll probably never grow out of being that little girl looking for somebody to slide down and say, here's love in this bag. Take it, and it's now your love. But alhamdulillah, I felt appreciated today. So always let your brothers and sisters in faith know that you love them, guys. And also, when you meet one of your Muslim brothers and sisters, smile. What is our greeting? The greeting of the Muslim, our greeting is not like any other greeting. Our greeting of Assalamu alaikum, we're wishing peace. You're wishing peace and blessings upon a person. A person could be like me, having a rough day, and then you come and say, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, Layla. And then you shake my hand. Shake your hand. Because the Prophet said, whenever you greet the greeting and shake the person's hands, as long as that person is the same sex as you, or if that person is an opposite gender, as long as it's a mahram to you, whenever you give the greeting of Assalamu alaikum and shake hands, all your past sins are forgiven. Y'all see that? So this is something that we need to get in the habit of doing to help build sisterhood, to help develop brotherhood. When you go to the mosque, you go and make your 2 rakats for the mosque. And when you stand up, go to the brothers next to you and say, Assalamu alaikum aki, and shake their hand. This will help to establish the tie. And for the sisters, the same thing. Make your 2 rakats, and then when you get up, look and see who's around you and go to her and say, Assalamu alaikum, my sister, and shake their hands. So all your past sins will be forgiven. And this will help to develop sisterhood. And another thing we can do to strengthen the ties is when your sister in Islam or your brother in Islam leave you, ask them to make dua for you. Subhanallah. One of the new shahadas asked me the other day, she said, Sister Layla, every time Dr. Jamali comes into the website, he'll answer a question about Islam or he'll give his class. And at the end of his class, he'll say the closing remarks. And then he'll say, everybody, keep me in your dua, make dua for me. She said, why does he do that? Because this is the sunnah. This is the sunnah. It's from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that when you leave your brothers in faith or you leave your sisters in faith after meeting with them, ask them to make dua for you. That's the sunnah. I want to do a class. At the end of my class, Assalamu alaikum, please keep me in your dua. That's why they say that. Please keep me in your dua. Make dua for me. This is a sunnah, and this will help to strengthen the ties of love between us. And another thing that we can do is visit each other on a regular basis. And you don't even have to worry about visiting nowadays. Just text message. Send a text message to check in with your sister in Islam. Assalamu alaikum. I'm just checking in to see if you okay. The other day when I overslept because I was moving stuff around in my house, I woke up to so many text messages. Sister Geechee, Sister Norto, Aisho, Fresno. A lot of the sisters that text me just to check on me, just to make sure I'm okay. This will help to develop and strengthen the love between us. And when good things happen, congratulate your brothers and sisters in Islam. For example, when Sister Mayleon When May Leon graduated from college with her degree, we all went to her Facebook page and congratulated her. MashaAllah. When this new sister Habibo got married the other day, we all congratulated her. Subhanallah. Whenever you hear something good that happens to your sister in Islam, congratulate her. And that will help to keep the tie strong between you. We have to remember that having strong relationships with our Muslim brothers and sisters, it brings about a lot of benefits for us as a nation. For example, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the true believer, he savors his faith. In other words, he protects his faith by loving others for the sake of Allah. What does that mean? That instead of us focusing on the things that we don't like about another Muslim, instead look at the good things that person has about them and love them for the sake of Allah. The Prophet said there are three qualities that if a person possesses them, that person will taste the sweetness of faith. What does that mean? That means there are three characteristics. If a person has them, they have the characteristics of a believer. And that is, number one, to love another person for the sake of Allah. That's a characteristic of a believer, to be able to overlook a person's faults and shortcomings. Now, I'm not talking about the person committed a crime. And I have to explain that because there's a lot of fitting going on in these masajids. I'm not talking about a person is a rapist, a person is a child molester, a person is a thief. I'm not talking about them. You don't overlook that because those are not bad qualities. Those are sinful actions. And those are all sinful actions that bring about qisas, or punishment, retribution in Islam. So I'm not talking about overlook the fact that that brother's a child molester. No, I'm talking about overlook the fact that you don't like the way that person's accent is. Something petty that has nothing to do with paradise. Or you don't like the fact that that sister speaks loudly. I don't like that sister there because she has a big nose. I don't like that person there because he's black in color. Trivial things. And overlook the things that you don't like, and instead look at the fact that even though they're black in color, they can recite the Quran better than you. Even though her voice is loud, subhanallah, she's a good admonisher. She's a good advisor. Even though his nose is big, he's the first one to volunteer to help a person in need. So this is what we're going to have to work on as a nation today. Instead of being personal and nitpicking, look beneath the surface and see the good in a person, the good that Allah sees in them, and love them for that sake. Does everybody understand? Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah surrounds the person who loves for his sake with mercy. And Allah protects that person from the trials on the day of judgment. What does that mean? For those of us who can overlook the shortcomings of others and instead focus on the good, the angels of mercy accompany you. And the angels of mercy, they make dua for you and they protect you. And on the day of judgment, one of the people that will be under the shade of Allah is a person that was able to put aside his or her petty dislikes and instead see the good in others. So again, a lot of benefits in loving for the sake of Allah. Also, when you train your soul to only love for the sake of Allah, you'll find peace and joy in your heart. You won't be a person that suffers with jealousy. You won't be a person that's so evil that you go around holding grudges against people. So loving for the sake of Allah brings comfort to the heart. And those of us who do love for the sake of Allah, you'll find that they have hearts overflowing with peace, and their faces are always bright and happy. That's the brother at the mosque that you see. No matter what's going on, he always has a smile on his face. That's the sister over there. No matter how hard life is, she's always got a joke for you and a beautiful smile on her face. When I read this hadith, I think about Sister Layla on my website. Sister Layla has always got a nice word to say. She's always smiling. She looks beneath the surface of people. In my real world, there's one sister who was a friend of mine since I was 12, like Latifa. Her name is Sister Nadia. Sister Nadia, she's been a friend of mine, since I was 12 years old. When I was back in college, oh yeah, I was a rebel. I used to park in handicap spots. And every time I did it, my car would get towed. $200. I didn't have $200 to get it out, but I'd call Nadia and she'd say, Layla, what you doing parking in the handicap zone? Girl, get my credit card and go get your car. She would always tell me, get you my credit card and go get your car. And she never had a bad word to say about anyone to this day. And Nadia's older than me. Nadia always has a smile on her face. She's always there to help you in your time of need. And I'm telling you, I've never, ever heard her backbite anyone. That's one sister I can say she's never spoken badly about anyone. In fact, if you speak bad about people, she'll leave. She'll get up and leave because she won't get involved in that. She's one who, in my opinion, mastered loving for the sake of Allah. And she's always happy. She's always got a smile on her face. And Allah has given her the things that she needs in this life to survive as a result. Also, guys, loving for the sake of Allah is a trust. It's a trust of faith that never breaks. Whoever can maintain that characteristic will remain saved. Like I said, I look at a person like Nadia, and inshallah, she ain't got to worry about, I don't have to worry about her being punished for backbiting, for slander, for gossip, because she's never indulged in that. She's never been one to let her tongue twist to gossip, backbite, or slander anyone. And that's going to be a protection for her on the day of judgment, because most women will be in hell because they do that. And again, for those who can love for the sake of Allah, this is a sign that that person has perfect belief. That person understands that hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the two main reasons as to why there'll be more people in hell than paradise is failure to control their tongue and failure to control their private parts. So when you get married, like Sister Nadia, your private parts is taken care of. And so then all you have to do is focus on your tongue. Well, alhamdulillah, Nadia doesn't have a problem with her tongue. These are people. That's a sign of perfect faith. That's a sign of a pure heart. And that's a sign of a good conscience. So that'll bring us to a question that many Muslims say. Well, where have we gone bad? Where have we fallen short? Why come we don't have this love amongst ourselves that the companions had? Well, One of the reasons why our brotherly love and our sisterly love has diminished is because of our preoccupation with the life of this world. Remember, the Prophet ﷺ told the companions that. He said, there will come people after you who will be so preoccupied with the money and what the earth produces that they'll become negligent and remiss in their obligations to Allah. And that's what's happened. We're so occupied with trying to make money, trying to get that big house, trying to get that fancy car, trying to live the Kardashian lifestyle, that we've forgotten the Abdullah lifestyle. So here's some things that we can do to correct that situation. Number one, mingle more in the company of other Muslims. We had a sister here yesterday, and I haven't seen her today. So I'm hoping she took my advice. Yesterday, when I was teaching my class, remember one of my new shahadas, Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson, she said she wanted to go to the Eid prayer, but she was afraid. Y'all remember? She said she was afraid of the racism. So I asked her to tell me the name of the mosque, and I looked it up. I said, oh, I know these brothers. I know those imams, which I do. I don't know them personally, but I know of them. I said, and 3 of your imams are black. 3 of them are black. So you look at that masjid, they got Somalians, they got people from Ghana there. There's a lot of Africans there and African Americans. I told her, I said, you don't have to worry about that. And I was telling her, try to go to the mosque, especially take the kids. And the reason I was pushing her is because she's a new shahada. And I know that she can get the knowledge of Islam here from me on the internet. But there's one thing that I cannot give her, which is that physical love, that physical contact. She needs to have that physical contact from another Muslim sister who she can shake hands with, who she can hug, who she can sit down and have coffee with one-on-one and talk and get advice from. This will cause us to become a closer nation. Yes, a lot of us, we have good cyber relationships. We have a strong cyber Islamic community here. Sunnah Followers Online, we've been online since 1986, and we have a strong Islamic cyber community. But you guys need that physical interaction too. So it's something that we need to work on doing, trying to mingle more in the company of our brothers and sisters in faith. Okay? And also another thing that we can do that will strengthen our ties is to not just quote these hadiths, but understand the meaning of them by applying them to your heart and acting on them. You guys are learning so much here at this website from me. But are you taking these hadiths and putting them into action? Inshallah, Miss Jackson did today. Alhamdulillah, Mina is doing that today. That's why she's not here. But how many of the rest of you are taking into action the meaning of brotherhood, the meaning of sisterhood, and implementing it with other Muslims? Also, another way to correct the preoccupation with this worldly life is to remind yourself as to how Allah does not accept any of our good deeds unless they're done solely for Him. So ask yourself, why am I so caught up in my job? Am I doing this to please Allah, or am I doing this out of my love for the life of this world? There's a lot of Muslim women that are working that don't have to work, but they choose to. Why do you choose such a thing? You're definitely not choosing it for Allah's sake, Because if you was choosing it for Allah's sake, you wouldn't be working at all. You'd be at home with your children. So do some evaluation. You got a love for the life of this world to the point that you'll become remiss in your true obligations, which are your children and family, just so you can make that dollar bill and show off. So we have to remind ourselves of the necessity of pure intentions and the importance of understanding that everything we do for Allah. Otherwise, it's not accepted. If it ain't for Allah, then it's nothing. It's wasted actions, wasted time. Also, another way that we can correct the problem of preoccupation with the life of this world is strive to unite your people in your community. Try to have social events at the mosque. Have classes, have things for the children to do. Have get-togethers for the sisters only, so that we can all come together as a community and get to meet each other and get close to one another. So these are just some suggestions of things that we can do to correct the problem of being too focused on the life of this world instead of on sisterhood. Maintaining brotherhood is a command from Allah. Allah commands us to do this, just like he commands us to pray, just like he commands us to fast, just like he commands us to wear hijab. So maintaining the ties of brotherhood and sisterhood is a command from Allah. It unites us. And remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest weapon that we have as a nation against Shaitan is each other. Why is it that Shaitan is destroying us individually? Because we're not united as a nation under one solidarity. Too many of us are patriotic. Too many of us are nationalistic. Too many of us are superficial. Too many of us are tribal. Too many of us are emotional. Well, Islam brings us together despite all of this, just because we all believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Listen to what Allah says in the Quran and the interpretation of the meaning. The believers are but one single brotherhood. So we got to start reaching out together as a one group, not just reaching out to the Palestinians in your community, not just reaching out to the Egyptians in your community, not just reaching out to the Somalis in your community. You want to reach out to everyone, have an event and invite all the sisters to it, no matter what their race, their country, their color. Also, Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, the believers, men and women, are protectors of one another. They enjoin the good of Islam and they forbid the evil of disbelief. They observe the regular prayers. They pay the charity tax. They obey Allah and his messenger, and upon them will Allah pour his mercy. So again, we have to be one. What makes us a brotherhood is not what part of the world we come from. My allegiance is not just to Gaza. That's why I keep telling y'all got to stop that flag stuff. Seriously, that Gaza flag stuff is getting old, people. We don't have allegiance to a flag of Gaza. Our allegiance is not to the flag of Egypt either. It definitely ain't to the flag of America or the UK. Our allegiance is to anyone who declares La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, no matter what flag their country bears. Does everyone understand that? And also, listen to what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said right before he died in his farewell speech, he said, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white man has no superiority over a black man, nor does a black man have any superiority over a white man, except by our piety and good intentions. Allah doesn't care what race you are, what color you are, what tribe you come from, how smart you are. In fact, he's the one that made you all of that. So why should he care? What he does care about is your consciousness of him, your fear of his punishment, and your love for him. That's how Allah decides who's the best of the best. So we got to get rid of all this racism and nationalism and flagism that's going on today and become one brotherhood. As the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. He does not oppress him, nor does he leave him at the mercy of others. Also, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, none of you will have faith until you want for your brother what you'd want for yourself. So thus, guys, we need to all learn from these hadiths. And we all need to work together on holding on to the rope of Allah, together as one nation, not separated by flags, not separated by countries, not separated by tribes, and not separated by the color of our skin. Instead, we have to hold on all together to the rope of Allah as one nation, one brotherhood, strong, firm, and determined. That's how the companions were. That's how they established the first Islamic state, based on la ilaha illallah. It wasn't based on the Quraysh are better, because the Arabs came from different tribes. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam united them, brought them all together as one. Some of them were black, some were white, some were brown. Some were slaves, some were ex-slave owners, but they became one. We need to get back to that. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, I'm going to close out for tonight. I'm hoping that everybody had a good Eid. For those of you who were able to benefit from my lectures, I hope my lectures were a benefit for you on this Eid. And Eid Mubarak to you too, brother Aski. Ikiz, I can't pronounce his name. Yeah, may Allah bless us all. May Allah keep us all firm upon Siratul Mustaqim. May Allah alleviate from our hearts any jealousies, any racisms, tribalisms, and instead replace that with nothing but the truth from him and love for him, love for the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, love for those companions, and love for our religion and love for each other. Ameen. All right, guys, I'm going to close out for now. The Zoom room is open. Make sure you guys join it. Come into the Zoom room if there's anything else you want to say, unless there's a question. No questions? I forgot my Twitch people. Hold on. No questions, Twitch?
Donations.
Oh, yes, guys, we're desperate. And by the way, Karima, I was looking for you. They finally sent a check. I meant to email you and I forgot. They finally sent a check, Karima. Yeah. So I guess that's what they'll do. They'll be mailing it to me, I guess. It's just that they're slow. People are slow. Yeah. Yes. And by the way, guys, please donate to support us We're still in the beginning of the month still, and our website expenses are over $2,000 a month. As you guys know, we are a nonprofit organization, desperately in need of your donations. You know, once we get to the point where our website expenses are met, as you guys heard Dr. Jamali talking about, our goal, we would love to be able to put on, like Kareem Abu Zaid does, go to different cities, do the Sunnah Followers conference. But we can't do that. We don't have no donations. You know, we got to pay the website expenses first. And that costs money, you know, to put on conferences. But we would love to do that, you know, to go to different cities, you know, and do a Sunnah Followers conference, you know, have Dr. Jamali and Sheikh Morsi. Sheikh Morsi would come to our conferences. Bring Sheikh Morsi in there, Dr. Ali, you know, Brother Mukhtar. And then I would be there for the sisters to talk with the sisters. But we just don't have the donations for that. Subhanallah. Yeah. So I really hope that, you know, keep this website, keep our website in your door. You know, most people say keep me in your door. Well, Layla says keep the website in your door so that we can get to that level where we can travel to different cities. I would love to go to the West Coast and do a conference. I would love to go to, well, have a conference here where I am in the East Coast, and then go to the South where Jamali is. Yeah, but we need donations, man. Yeah. I would just do it for maybe 3 times a year. Wintertime, West Coast. Summertime, East Coast. Springtime, South Coast. Even had old Maine Atlee there. Oh yeah, we'd have old Maine Atlee. In fact, we do it down there in South Carolina. Hello, South Carolina. Old Maine Atlee would be there. Yeah, subhanallah. Yes, it's hot. Is it hot where you guys are? Supposedly America's going through the heat wave. It was 90-something degrees here where I am. And I turned off my air conditioner. I need to turn it back on. Yeah. Yeah, that's something we need to work on, Karima. I don't even know how to set that up. I can't do that. If somebody could set that up where we could do it, I would love to do we could do our first conference here in the city I'm in Cleveland. Cleveland is the East Coast. Philadelphia ain't but 4-hour drive. My sister's here from Philly and New York. New York ain't, and Buffalo ain't but 2 hours. Yeah, but I don't know how to do that. I'd have Sheikh Morsi come and bring in Sheikh Morsi, Jamali, Dr. Ali, Sheikh Atlee. Yeah, we'd have Sheikh Atlee. You'd have me and Ayin. I'd have Dr. Jamali's wife, Ayin, me and Ayin for the sisters. Me and Ayin for the sisters. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to close out for right now. Inshallah, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is Monday. Yes, we have the 6 o'clock class. Yeah, I would do it out there where Fresno is. Hey, Fresno, why don't you work on how we go about doing that? Couldn't your mosque could be the host in California, the West Coast?
Girl, what you talking about? I just walked in here from Kane.
Yeah, like I was saying, if I wanted to do the conference thing, you know, I would like to have one on the West Coast, a Sunnah Follower conference, then one on the East Coast, that would be my city. One in the South, that could be down there where Atlee or Jamali is. You know, how would we go about doing that? You know, how will we raise the money for
we
that?
We can't sponsor you. We poor. We need money.
Well, how do we do that? That's what I'm saying. How would we do stuff like that? I don't even know how. Can Mina look that stuff up when she get a chance?
She probably can.
Yeah, write that down for Mina. May, write that down for Mina to look up how we can go about saving up, getting donations for our first little conference somewhere.
But we can't bring you. Somebody using, because remember somebody had brought you, Layla, to
and they never came back. Remember, I ain't heard from her since.
What happened?
I haven't heard from her since. And remember, she had schizo too. I mean, I attract those people. They can't follow through on nothing.
Yeah, they did, because we went to, how did we go to Texas?
Oh, no, that was through Sheikh Atlee, girl.
Oh.
I ain't with the old man no more.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I would bring Sheikh Atlee to the conference where we'd have to have Sheikh Atlee, Dr. Jamali, and Sheikh Morsi. I'd have Sheikh Morsi, Dr. Jamali, Sheikh Atlee, and Dr. Ali. All four of them. Dr. Ali, Atlee, Jamali, Morsi. Those four. And then it'd be me and Sister Aeen for the sisters. Me and Aeen.
Girl, well, I'm out here can't bring you to Fresno, so you got to go another route.
I'm saying, what do people do though? What do they have mosques sponsoring them?
The mosque is what I think Ali was going to try to bring you here.
I remember he showed, but so you got to go through. We got to figure. Have Mina just write it down. May write it down for me to talk to Mina tomorrow. Well, whenever she come back, so Mina can be our look at how to do all that stuff. That's too much for me to figure out.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, we can't bring you here.
Well, like here where I'm at, how could I do it here?
The mosque, well, I don't know.
We ain't got no rich mosque. Mukhtar's, our mosque is poor.
Oh, girl, y'all like us.
We about poor as you are. We ain't got no big mosque like these other brothers got down there in Texas, where all that molestation's going on. They the ones with the money. The mosques with the molestation. They got the money.
Yeah, they would
What I would do probably is we'd have to rent a hall or something, right? If they rent something. That's what I'm saying. Mina got to look into that, because there's this place down the street from me, like CARE. When Aisha does her CARE events, they don't have them at no mosque. They rent a hall.
Girl, you would come to our mosque if you had one. If you had the money to spend for you, you got a beautiful mosque.
Oh, what would you need? What does the mosque need to host it?
They would host by sending for you and paying for your kitchen.
Oh, that's what we need the people that's going, but what if we raise the money ourselves? That's what I'm saying. If we raise the money ourselves through some, do a fundraiser, then your mosque would just host it, right?
A mosque would just, you would just be coming, yeah.
So that's another way we can go, because I'm saying we ain't got all of our communities are poor. So how about, we have to have Mina Mina can look into how to raise some money that'll cover everybody. First get to tickets.
At the clubhouse.
My clubhouse ain't big enough. Not for that. If I brought Sheikh Atlee and Morsi and them, it's gonna be packed.
First do it with the sister there.
You know what? My brother Issa, let me talk to Issa, because he got that mosque on the west side that ain't poor. I'm about to talk to my brother Issa. Palestinian mosque. They ain't poor. But that's just my mosque here. I want to come out to the West Coast. We'll check it out. We'll work on it. That's something that we're going to have to figure out at Sunnahfollowers, y'all. Geechee, write it down. Y'all figure that out. Get a committee together. Y'all figure that stuff out.
Oh yeah. It looks good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Modesto Mosque. They wouldn't have us there. Somebody type and check out the Modesto Mosque, Fresno.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Oh, Modesto.
You know about the Modesto Mosque?
Modesto.
That's the one that
Yeah.
that's the one that Antar and them and Sabrina them go to, ain't it?
No. They might be Madeira. But we got our graveyard at. They ain't no good.
Oh, they Madero. Yeah. Well, this person here is typing, check there's a mosque in Modesto, California. Check out the Modesto Mosque.
Modesto, that's where your girl at.
Who?
What's her name, daughter, sister?
Who? That's why I want somebody's there. Who? Oh, Izahar and Ifti?
Yeah,
oh, you know what? That's where she's at in Modesto. I'll talk with Ifti. Yeah, Ifti there, the Palestinians, they got some money. They ain't no poor mosque. Let me talk to Ifti. Hey, Ifti, is she in there?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we have to ask Ifti about that. See if Ifti can sponsor it. Yeah, if Ifti, that Modesto money, that's Ifti's mosque. They're Palestinians. They not poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be nice. Is that close to you?
That's close.
Good. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk to Ifti. Yeah, I'll have Ifti check that out. If they would sponsor. I mean, we could be Sheikh Morsi, Jamali, Dr. Ali, and Sheikh Adley. That would be the bomb. Right there. Drop the mic. Bang.
You still screaming?
Yeah, why?
No,
okay, let me get off of here too. Because the people, they was the one typing the mosque sheets to me. Okay. All right, guys, let me go back in here so we can work on this. Assalamu alaikum. The class tomorrow's at 6 and 9 o'clock. Inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka.